Welcome back to the neighborhood, boys and girls. Our next guest is a longtime friend of mine, South Jersey legend real estate, Mark McKenna from McKenna Realtors. Welcome to the neighborhood, Mark.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jim. So Jim and I go way back. We used to sling pizzas together in the 90s.
When I tell people, I know Mark McKenna before he was a realtor, they're like, come on, no way.
Pizza guy.
Yeah, pizza guy. So that's kind of where we start almost every interview. Talk a little bit about getting into the industry. You were working for your mom. Your dad started the business. How was the beginning of your career and your journey?
It was tricky because I got my license when I was 18. I didn't start till I finished college, and it was 1991. It was a bad market, and I'll never forget my first closing. The title clerk who did the closing called my mother and said, he doesn't have it. He's never going to make it. And of course, the competitive person that my mother is told me, is Linda doesn't think you're going to make it. So she just passed a year ago, but she was still working at the title company until like 3 years ago. And every time I had a closing, I'd go, Linda, I'm still here.
Still there.
Still here, grinding away. But it was difficult, and I started doing a ton of rentals. I took any scrap I can get. First thing I did is I bought a computer back in '91. No one had a computer in real estate. And I put in every address in a couple areas, and I farmed them like I was trained to do. And, I started building a little book, and then, I said I could only do the same amount of business on my own. So we hired somebody in 1997. And, trying to figure out how they can help me take me to the next level. And then in 1999, I said, I got to do this with more of a plan. I can't fly by the seat of my pants. I hired a coach, and I'm still with that coaching company today. I'm a Mike Ferry agent, and they assigned me to a person who has built teams. So I strategically built a team, and knew the formula. Every person you hire equates to 40 to 50 transactions, and still have that call every morning at Thursday at 8:30. And it's the best thing I ever did in my career.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And your mom was like the trendsetter, and you were just talking to us about that, her passing her test and doing everything.
Yeah, it's a great story.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's a lot of pride when you're a family-owned business. And we recently had a little bit of a transition, but it's still our culture. It's still Pat McKenna Realtors. And she's still there.
Yes. And
she still sells her 25. I was leaving today. She goes, I just closed a nice one for $600. I was like, you go get them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
you still bring that hometown feeling. Like no matter what, you did the transition to EXP, you're still a Marlton person.
Yeah. We are. We've been on Main Street. We're really excited. We ripped down our old facility. We just built a brand new building that she designed and built. It's her property, and it's 23 apartments and 4,700 square foot for our agents. So it's going to be a nice transition. We'll move in there August 1st, and it's so important to be a part of the community. I don't care if it's baseball teams or the Yellow Ribbon Club or the high schools. That's what giving back to the community is probably the most rewarding thing that you can do as an agent, and people recognize that. We've done, literally I would tell you, we have donated hundreds and hundreds of thousands to the Evesham community, and it's fun to do that. It comes back tenfold too.
Yeah, and you were talking a little bit to us about your future plans and kind of getting a little bit less of the salesperson and more of the manager, cultivator, leader type thing.
It's tough to keep wearing 7 different hats.
Sure.
So as your group grows, there's nothing better than I can see of taking someone who comes in your office who doesn't know a thing, and then they turn out to be a great agent. Like, Jeff Hamsden has been with me 17 years. I think he's probably the best buyer's agent in South Jersey. Jeff used to work the counter at a local pizza place that we used to go in every day. And I said, you need to come work for me. And, he's like my younger brother now. Like, and he is just amazing.
He worked with a buyer that I worked over to him. Incredible negotiator. A couple things that he told me about ahead of time, I was thinking in my head, that's pretty gutsy.
Yeah.
And he fought for the buyer.
And he started at the perfect time. Okay? And some people don't think this is the perfect time, but he started in 2006. His first open house he did, he sold 2 houses, and then the market tanked. So he made it through that 8, 9, 10, 11.
Sure.
And and people, if you can do that, that's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
So and now he's reaping the benefits. He's got a great client base. We work together. Sometimes we'll team on some things together, but he's just a wonderful asset for us.
Yeah, good dude. And you were talking, your future plans are?
So I don't do as much buyer work as I used to. I kind of give all my referral work to my agents. They're real capable. I try and match everybody up based on, personality traits. I think I'm real big on that. Who's going to be a good fit? A lot of times I'll be the lead on the first appointment. I'll go out with them, introduce, hey, this is how we're going to do it. Or we'll do a buyer consult. We'll come in and we'll make sure we listen to those clients and get their wants and needs. And if I can really do it right, it would be to be totally out of production altogether in the next 3 to 4 years. If I can, find that right person, because on a listing appointment, that's my strength.
Yeah.
That's what I got to be at. So if I can find that person that I can go out with, take the appointment, hand it off, and put out fires and build it and train everybody, that would be the ultimate goal to where I can be at.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now you did the transition. We talked a little bit about from EXP, from a home business to EXP. How have you felt the transition, and is there anything that kind of took you by surprise that you weren't expecting that has come from that?
I thought that we did it at the busiest time of the year. So we had like 75 deals in the pipeline. So I like when you're busy and you work under pressure. I think that's when you're the most effective. I think some of the people struggled a little bit, but it came real easy. And one of the things that I think we noticed is our files are a lot tighter because there's accountability in the software that you're doing instead of just, oh, it's in the file, it's in the file. You don't get paid until your file's right. So, and now the files are tight, everything's uploaded to SkySlope. It's taken a lot of responsibility and a lot of time off of our plates, so we can concentrate more on the sales approach and a lot more on training. I mean, the way we train now compared to a year ago is night and day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really helped our agents, and I think we're at 52 or 53 agents. We had 16 a year ago. So it was
some rapid growth.
Right? Rapid growth, good training, bringing some different people in. I got a really good young group in there. So I got some 20-year-olds, I got some 23s, I got a couple 25-year-olds that are, kind of make $160,000, $170,000.
Can't beat that, right?
No, and they're loving life, but you gotta work. Like the first thing I tell everybody in an interview, this business was built on hard work. If you do not want to do that, no hard feelings. This isn't the place for you.
Yeah.
So our expectations are high.
That's awesome. And you've been really public about your health issues and things that are going on. You look like things are going really well. You give a little update on how things are going.
Yes.
You've done a bunch of...
It was an interesting time. I was diagnosed with prostate cancer in mid-October this year. I chose to go through radiation. I started that in March. Currently, right now, I'm still on this Lupron, which is a hormone therapy treatment, and I was laughing with Jim earlier. I will never make fun of any female going through menopause, because I basically am going through menopause. I have hot flashes, I have cravings for chocolate, I want to come home, watch romantic comedies, snuggle and bake cookies. No joke, I'll be a caveman again in another 3 months, so that'll all be good. But it's going great. I had great health care down at University of Penn. And the one thing I will tell you, put things in perspective, when I was going to radiation every morning at 6 a.m., I was feeling a little down about myself. and I realized how sick so many other people are, I felt like, wow, I was lucky. These people have some really serious health issues, and
Sure.
you know, the fact that I was able to come back, shower, and go to work every day was a blessing in itself.
Yeah, it's amazing how things like that will put it all in perspective.
Yeah, I have a totally different outlook on things, and you know, you have some sleepless nights. You're worried about, oh my God, I got cancer, and then so I took a little different approach. I made it public. I did some video.
Yeah.
I probably had about 40 people I know go out and get a PSA test, and they were like, "My wife's been bothering me. She saw your video. I had to do it." And then we had a lot of fun with it too. I don't know if you saw the video.
Sure.
My Rocky video with my Michael Buffer. So, you know, we kind of had a lot of fun at the hospital. They really enjoyed it. The nurses were great. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And your other side, no, I wouldn't call it a side project, but your other thing you've been doing now is the Hustle podcast.
Yeah.
How did that come about, and what do you get from that emotionally?
So, you know, again, surrounding yourself with, you know, different people and always thinking outside the box. I have a lot of young people in the office, and, you know, certain people's expectations of what you do day to day is they're so used to watching these dumb TV shows, so they think that's what real estate is.
Yeah.
And some of my young people got in like, you need to have a podcast. So we came up with a name and started to brand it. We just before here, I filmed my 9th episode, and I was surprised how many people are listening to it. Like, I'll be at the store, like people who are non-real estate people. Yo, I love your podcast. I'm like, really? So, you know, and it seems to be really getting some legs, and we're going to keep doing it. We try and drop 2 a month.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll interview real estate people. Sometimes I'll just do people who've done a great job building a brand or some success stories. You know, we do a lot of women who win. You
Sure.
know, and they have a lot of common themes, and I'll bring that up. And you know, my office has done a great job with that. It's been awesome. It's funny. I'm on the other side.
Yeah.
I'm usually the guy asking
flipping the
questions.
tables on you.
But yeah, it's been really fun. And the people who, just like me, I was happy to come down and spend time with you. They're like delighted.
Sure.
Our difference is like this is live. We edit.
Okay.
Because some people get really nervous. It's just audio. We'll do a couple video clips for some, you know, promo stuff.
Sure.
But they're so nervous.
Yeah.
So I can relax. It'll be good.
Just two people talking.
I do it in my basement at
Yeah.
the bar. If you want to have a beer, you can have a beer and loosen it up and do whatever. But yeah, it's great. It's great stuff. I
The
enjoy it.
fantasy football room.
The fantasy
That's what I like to
football
call it,
room,
for sure.
Yes.
Cool. All right, got one personal question for you.
Sure.
You wake up tomorrow morning, a genie comes in your house and says you can go rewatch one sporting event in person and bring one person with you. What event do you want to see, and who's the person you want to bring?
I would probably say I would go to the Raiders Super Bowl in '83 because that's the last time they won a Super Bowl.
Against the Redskins?
Against the Redskins, and watch Marcus Allen
Marcus
run for
Allen.
192 yards.
Okay.
And I would probably, my son wasn't alive then, but I would take him because
him in.
I've tortured him to be a Raiders fan. And he's like, he can't understand why I like him. And I would say, hey, at least you get to see him win one Super Bowl.
See it.
Yeah, because he has all silver and black, and we're big diehard Raiders fans. But that would probably, you know, it's either that, because now I'm a big Auburn fan too.
Yeah.
Or been the punt play or the field goal that
Return
the guy
for
would
the-
take.
yeah.
One of those two.
That
And I would
was a
bring-
pretty awesome
That
play.
would have been a fun against Alabama. That would have been that. Both of those were two
Nice.
great events. But I'd say Raiders with my son. That's a
I'm
cool
sure.
question, by
Yeah,
the way.
cool.
I like that on the spot.
Awesome. Thanks
All
for
right.
coming by, Mark.
Thanks for having me.
We'll
All
be
right.
back with the next guest.